What's up, buddy?
All right. Hi, everyone. I am Dr. Jennifer McCauley. I'm the IECS Educational Programs Manager. I'm familiar with most of you, I think. Some of you I haven't met yet. So today we're going to be talking about putting together your professional job search materials, your resume, CV, and a cover letter. So I'm just going to share my screen. Can everyone see that? I'll assume yes. Okay. So what is a resume? A resume is a document that summarizes your skills, your experience, and your educational background. It's basically an advertisement of who you are and what you can offer the company that you're applying to. It's your first impression on your potential employer, and it's your first step towards getting an interview. A lot of people think a resume is going to help them get a job. You never get hired from your resume alone. Your resume is used to get an interview. So the main sections of a resume include your contact info, your professional summary or career profile, your employment history, your educational background, and then other skills, such as any programming languages that you're familiar with, any honors or fellowships you've received, any kind of activities or outreach or professional memberships. So the contents of the contact section include your full name, your permanent address, your local address if applicable, your email address, phone number, and if you have any kind of a website, some people use like their GitHub link. So designing the contact section, you want to highlight your full name at the top in bold caps. Use some kind of elegant divider, but nothing that's too busy. And the visual should not be too distracting. So here you see for Joseph Smith, his name is very bold and all caps. The lines are very thin, but it's a nice looking aesthetic. It's not really too busy. It's easy to read. Your professional summary would be in paragraph format, about 3 to 4 sentences, written in the third person. You'd use adjectives, verbs, and any other keywords that match qualifications for the desired positions. Describe the scope of roles, responsibilities, and achievements, and any career highlights. So here in this professional summary, there's a couple of sentences. It says something to the order of orderly and committed administrative assistant offering over 7 years of solid skills in customer relations and resilience to handle challenges of fast-paced professional and banking environments. Bringing a detail-oriented and decisive nature with sound judgment, good multitasking abilities, etc. So you're getting a little bit of what this person has accomplished and what they're capable of. Sorry. Okay. A career profile information is provided in bulleted form. Each bullet describes a different skill of expertise. It's quick and easy to scan and uses focus keywords to describe roles, experiences, and skills. So in this example, you see bullets of this person's professional history. They're an experienced manager with 6 years of industry experience in sales and management, results driven, constantly going the extra mile, went over sales forecast by 150,000 2 years in a row. So if you're the person who is thinking of hiring this person, that's definitely something that would stand out to you, that they would bring your sales up. So your employment history, you can choose to do either a chronological format or a functional format. So chronological, you would list work in reverse chronological order with your most recent listed first, include any measurable accomplishments. This is good for those with steady work history. A functional format showcases skills and accomplishments first and lists employers second. This works well for those with gaps in work history or younger workers without much experience. Your educational background. You would include schools you've attended, any universities, professional or technical schools, the location of each school, your date of graduation or anticipated date, the degree earned, and again, any honors or accomplishments or relevant coursework. Other skills, languages, and you would include your level of fluency, either fluent or conversational, any computer and technical skills, operating systems, or any non-work experience if it's relevant. So any other honors and activities, any academic awards, memberships on campus, any leadership positions held. For example, if you're involved with the IECS Student Association, you would include that. Any work-related awards or honors. So things to consider. So here's some important things. Your name should always be in all caps in large bold font. You want to use a permanent address where you can reliably receive mail. You also want to make sure that you use an appropriate personal email address. So something that's appropriate would be your name, like for example, samantha.smith@yahoo.com. Something that would be more inappropriate would be something silly like funkydude98@gmail.com. You always want to try and remember to save your resume in a PDF format. This way you maintain the proper font and formatting appearance. Your margin space should be at one inch all around. This allows you to get the most space out of the page. You want clearly defined categories with bold headings. Make sure to leave space between sections. This makes it a lot more easy for the hiring manager to scan the resumes. And this is super important that a lot of people don't realize. You can and should have multiple resumes for various job types. So some of the best and worst fonts. My personal favorite is Garamond. This one allows you to get the most content on the paper. People say that you should try and limit your resume to one page, 2 tops. Garamond allows you to get all of your content on the page. So selecting a font, again, Garamond can help you fit more content in less space. Times New Roman and Arial are okay, but they're very overused. And for someone who's looking at hundreds of resumes, you want yours to stand out. You want to use a 10 to 12 point font for body copy, slightly larger and bolded for headings and subheadings. And you could use more than one font, but try not to use more than 2. So for example, Helvetica is a good one for headers, and then the Garamond for body text. So here's an example of a good resume. So here you have Peter Brown. He gives you a summary. He's a systems engineer with experience building, managing, and supporting high-performance computing systems. You have his experience here. All his professional experience is listed very nice and cleanly. His employers are bolded. His positions are in italics. He has the dates, the locations. It's very easy to scan with your eye. Below that is his education, which is listed similarly. Then he has some programming languages, his familiarity with technologies and open source contributions. This is something that would be super easy for a program to scan and allow him to get selected for an interview. So an example of a bad resume is this one. So at the top right away, his name isn't in caps. Moreover than that, he's got an objective, which really isn't used anymore. It's centered. It's very hard to see. It is so cluttered that I promise you, any person who's going through resumes in a hiring committee, they're going to toss this one right aside. So common signs of a bad resume: using an objective rather than a summary, uninspired work experience section, no skills or core competencies listed, spelling errors and grammatical mistakes, poor design or layout, and your information not being tailored to the job that you're applying for. So a summary is better than objective. An objective is something that used to be included in resumes and really isn't used anymore at all. A summary is used to succinctly convey your career goals, and it's better because it represents who you are, what you've accomplished, and how you can benefit your potential employer. Ultimately, that is all the employer cares about. How can you help them? How can you benefit their company? So an objective statement: looking to obtain a position as a software engineer and apply my many years of experience and skills. Whereas a summary would tell, 10 plus years of experience as a detail-oriented software engineer with a proven track record for gathering requirements, then designing and developing applications. So right away, instead of you telling them what you're hoping to find, you want to tell them what you can do for them, what you've accomplished. So it's very different. Your work experience. You want to make sure to define achievements rather than just listing your duties. You could tell them what you did in each job, but you should really be trying to tell them what you accomplished in each job. Don't say I developed sales plan using new and existing resources. Say something like I created dynamic sales strategy that boosted quarterly sales activity by 25%, increasing division profits by 14.3. You want measurable statistics of what you've accomplished in your position. And this specificity highlights the kind of results any new employer can expect to enjoy if they hire you. So listing no skills or competencies. So keywords are scanned using an applicant tracking system. This is how most companies do their job search now when people send in their resumes. And for each position, they're probably getting hundreds of resumes. So the application scanner goes through each resume, and on average, 75% of resumes are rejected, either because of the formatting or they're not getting the target words that they want to see. So ensure that you have matching keywords to match the job post to let the software know that you're a good match for this position. So an example of some core competencies include working with clients, application programming, software analysis and design, documentation review, things like that. So your word choice is very important. Your verbs should be active and powerful. Adjectives, which are your descriptive words, should help to reinforce the importance of your prior roles. And the goal is to insert value wherever possible. You always want to make yourself seem as valuable as you can. So don't say something like, I was responsible for meeting January 2020 sales goals. Instead, you'd say, I served as company trade show ambassador, enhancing new client acquisition by 15% over previous trade show outreach. Always take confidence in what you've accomplished and really try and shine in your resume. You want to avoid any spelling and grammar errors. First impressions always count, and errors reflect lack of attention to detail, and it shows that you really don't care and you're not going to really put in much effort. If you're not putting your best foot forward now, what are you going to do when you have the job there? So poor design and layout can also hurt you. While content matters most, it should be aesthetically pleasing. It should be easy on the eye. Hiring managers spend about 30 seconds reviewing a resume. I can tell you from personal experience on hiring committees I've been on, if there's a resume that is like crazy to look at, next, no one has time for that. So make sure it's neat and organized, and refrain from using any fancy designs, colors, or graphics, as the ATS may reject it. So failure to tailor the resume. So as I was saying previously, you want to make sure that you have more than one resume. So you can have your base resume with all of your content and your job history, your education, but you want to tailor each resume for a real chance at an interview. So read the job description and determine keywords and phrases. Pay attention to what is mentioned multiple times or seems emphasized. Speak to those items and keywords using your skills and experiences, and make sure to be intentional about what you include. Make sure that it's relevant. So similarly to a resume, there's also a curriculum vitae, which you may be more familiar with for academic roles. So a CV is a summary of professional and academic history. It's typically 2 to 3 page long, but it can be much longer for mid to senior level job applicants. This would include your work experience, achievements, awards, research projects, scholarships and grants, coursework, publications, and presentations. A CV is typically used for academic positions. So if you're ever applying for a faculty position, you'll be submitting a CV versus a resume. A resume would be more used for an industry type of position. While a resume should be concise and short, a CV is typically several pages long, and the longer it is, the more distinguished you are. So a resume focuses on experience and skills, while a CV focuses on academic credentials. A resume places the education section towards the bottom of the page, whereas a CV always begins with the education section. So moving on from that, I'm going to be talking to you about preparing a cover letter. So cover letters are super important. A lot of times people get really tired when applying for jobs. I know it's frustrating with all the different systems that you need to log in and create a username and all of that stuff, but preparing a cover letter is so important. I'm telling you, when an applicant gives a cover letter, it really helps their chances because it really gives a better picture of the applicant. So again, you want to avoid any spelling or grammatical errors, avoid use of any jargon. This is a sample of your communication and writing ability, so you really want to come through as good as possible. You want to maintain a confident and enthusiastic tone. You want to research your potential employer and use information about the company to emphasize how your skills can be best utilized there. So it would be a really good idea to go on the website, look up what their culture is like, what it's like working there, and try and write your cover letter in such a way that it aligns with what is normal for that company. You want to address it to the hiring manager, and it should be short, like 1 page, about 3 to 4 paragraphs in length. And in your first paragraph, you want to express the interest for the opportunity. You want to state the position that you're applying for, state your degrees held and any relevant experience, the number of years of experience. And this is like your first shot at telling them why you. In your second paragraph, you want to speak about your current position and how it's relevant, describe any previous positions and how the experiences were relevant, and use wording from the job posting whenever possible. In your final paragraph, you want to reiterate why you're interested in the position, reinforce why you would be a great fit for the organization and the opportunity, and be sure to thank the hiring manager for their time and their consideration. So here's an example of a sample cover letter that is really pretty good. So this is for a social marketing strategist, and they write, "Dear Figma hiring team, I am writing to apply for the position of social marketing strategist with Figma. With 8 years of experience in digital and social marketing, I am confident I possess the skills and qualifications necessary to be a successful addition to your team." Now notice here that they wrote, "I am confident." A lot of times you'll see wording like, "I believe I'm a good fit." Don't say "I believe." Tell them that you are the best candidate for this job. Be confident. So any questions?